In the 1980s, IBM defined computing. Imagine if, instead of licensing MS-DOS, this titan acquired Microsoft, seizing control of not just hardware, but the very operating system. How would this single decision have reshaped our entire digital world? And let's find the answer to the question, what IF? In this alternate history, IBM's prescient move to outright acquire Microsoft in the early 1980s would herald the dawn of the monolith. Instead of a mere partnership, Microsoft would cease to exist as an independent entity. Its intellectual property, including MS-DOS and nascent Windows developments, along with its brilliant talent, directly absorbed into IBM's massive corporate structure. This pivotal acquisition would dramatically alter the paths of Bill Gates and Paul Allen. They would either become IBM executives, potentially stifled by corporate bureaucracy, or leave the company entirely, preventing the rise of the independent entrepreneurial powerhouse Microsoft became. Crucially, IBM would become the singular, undeniable force, controlling not only the dominant personal computer hardware, but also its primary operating system. This unprecedented level of integrated market power would establish Big Blue as the undisputed software behemoth, fundamentally reshaping the entire nascent technology landscape from its very foundations. The operating system's destiny would take a dramatically different turn under IBM's wing. Instead of the rapid, aggressive innovation that propelled Windows to global ubiquity, its development would likely be funneled through IBM's more structured, bureaucratic processes. This shift could mean slower releases and a more cautious approach to new features. IBM, already championing OS/2, might have opted to integrate Windows features into its own system, or even prioritized OS/2, rather than allowing Windows to become the independent universal operating system we know. Consequently, the familiar Wintel duopoly might never emerge. Instead, IBM could have pushed for a tightly controlled, proprietary hardware-software ecosystem, potentially limiting consumer choice, fostering less competition, and altering the trajectory of open innovation in the PC market. The absorption of Microsoft by IBM would have fundamentally rewritten the personal and professional legacies of Bill Gates and Paul Allen. Stripped of their entrepreneurial independence, they wouldn't have built the colossal Microsoft empire, instead likely becoming high-level IBM executives or pursuing entirely different paths outside the tech industry. This shift would create a significant vacuum for innovation. The immense wealth and strategic influence generated by an independent Microsoft, which famously seeded and acquired numerous other promising startups, would simply not materialize. Consequently, venture capital flows and the development trajectory of countless emerging tech ventures would be drastically altered. This void would also actively encourage alternative software ecosystems to flourish, fostering a more fragmented yet potentially diverse early software market as other players step up to fill the gap left by Microsoft's absence. Had IBM acquired Microsoft, the internet and personal computer would have faced a distinctly proprietary future. IBM, known for its enterprise solutions, would likely have approached the burgeoning World Wide Web with a more controlled, business-centric vision, prioritizing corporate intranets and secured platforms over widespread open consumer access. This proprietary focus would have profoundly impacted the adoption of open internet standards. The widespread embrace of universal web protocols and independent browser technologies might have been significantly slower or more contested, as IBM could have favored its own closed ecosystem, potentially fragmenting early web development. Consequently, the personal computer itself might have remained primarily an enterprise tool. Without an independent Microsoft popularizing the home user experience, the PC's ubiquitous presence in every household could have been considerably delayed, solidifying its role as a powerful corporate machine rather than a personal device. Without a singular dominant Microsoft under IBM's wing, the tech landscape would become fertile ground for new contenders. Apple, freed from the intense rivalry, would see its Macintosh platform gain unprecedented traction, potentially becoming a far more dominant force in both consumer and business markets. This vacuum would also empower existing specialized software companies, like Oracle and Adobe, to expand their influence dramatically, or pave the way for entirely new entities to rise and claim crucial software niches. Furthermore, the absence of a ubiquitous Windows would create an environment ripe for alternative operating systems. Open source movements like Linux, alongside other commercial OS efforts, would find mainstream adoption much earlier, truly becoming genuine, widely used contenders and fostering a richer, more diverse software ecosystem from its nascent stages. IBM acquiring Microsoft in the 80s would create a tech monolith, altering innovation. In your opinion, what if IBM had bought Microsoft in the 1980s? Share your thoughts in the comments.